Getting right into it, Champions League. I'm Adrian, this is Rabona TV, also my sweater, a channel full of watch-alongs, football, player bios, football, weekend reviews, recaps, explainer videos, and more. So hit that subscribe button if that sounds cool to you, and if you don't want to miss a vid, then hit that little bell button. I can't find my recorder, so no musical intro this time. I mean, it wasn't visible in my surrounding area, and I gotta film this shit quick, so I said, forget it. Anyways, we'll start with one of the best teams in Champions League history, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, I know, Ronaldo is a player, not a team. But after adding 2 goals in the 3-0 trouncing of Juventus, only 9 teams in Champions League history have scored more goals than him. In fact, since he left Manchester United, he's scored 104 Champions League goals, and United have only scored 99. So what other ridiculous numbers and records did he set along the way? Well, since last season's quarterfinals, he has only failed to score in 1 Champions League match, and became the first player ever to score in 10 consecutive matches, with 15 goals in that time. And speaking of quarterfinals, he has now scored more Champions League quarterfinals goals than Juventus as a club, as he has 22 to their 21.
And there's more. He's now scored 9 goals against Juventus in just 6 matches. He also has 9 against Bayern Munich, by the way. But enough about Ronaldo, because Madrid as a whole were pretty incredible. Marcelo pretty much ended the debate of who the best left back in the world is, in my opinion, at least, and Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane were super solid. And Dani Carvajal was as good as ever. In fact, he became the first player in Champions League history to win 25 consecutive matches. He hasn't lost a match in the Champions League since 2015. Against Juventus. Speaking of Sergio Ramos, by the way, he set a record as well with his yellow card, as he now has the most yellow cards in the history of Real Madrid, with 222, for Spain with 21, the most in La Liga with 165, and the most ever in the Champions League with 36. Apparently, he doesn't have the most yellows in the history of football in general. However, I couldn't find anyone who has more than him, so he might have the most ever. I mean, it could also be Gerardo Bedoya, the record holder for the most red cards in football history, but I can't find any official numbers in regards to how many yellows he has. Regardless, Ramos is suspended for the next match. That's too bad. But I mean, Real Madrid should be totally fine without him, right? 3 away goals, Juve has a tough task ahead of them. Is it impossible? No, but I just can't see it happening, especially with Dybala getting himself sent off as well, which dulls Juve's attack a little bit. With Dybala in there and no Sergio Ramos, hey, maybe a different story, I don't know. So, what do you guys think? Is Cristiano Ronaldo the best Champions League player of all time? I mean, we already know he's the best goal scorer in the competition, the numbers speak for themselves, but what about player in general? And did you notice I hadn't mentioned his insane goal yet? Carvajal chips it in. Oh my god! No way, dude! Wow, that live stream looks like a lot of fun. And I also loved Barzagli's reaction. Okay, moving on to Bayern Munich, away to Sevilla. And I gotta say right off the bat, let's all give a massive round of applause to Vincenzo Montella and Sevilla, who despite having some wacky form domestically, they haven't strung 3 wins together since November, they continue to perform quite well in Europe. And in this match, I'll hand it to my man, Dave, one of the subscribers and frequent commenters, who has been saying all along that Bayern is crap in comparison to their high standards. Now, I'm not saying that Bayern were terrible, because that would be taking away from the great performance of Sevilla, who looked good in this game, or at least looked pretty on par with Bayern throughout. So, what happened in this one? Well, Pablo Sarabia got the scoring started off in a somewhat dubious manner, according to some, as he deftly controlled the ball with his arm, which was against his body. What do you guys think of this one? Should it have been a handball? I was a little undecided, but for me, it sort of comes down to this. Whether his arm was there or not, it wouldn't have made a difference. With his arm being there, it didn't give him an advantage, so I personally don't think it should have been called. But I am sympathetic to those who think it should have been. Hey, make your case in the comment section. I'm totally open to new opinions. I like opinions. Sarabia, by the way, has been killing it under Montella, as he has scored 7 and assisted 6 since the new manager took charge at the end of December. 5 minutes after Sarabia scored, Bayern got a fairly fortunate, or at least a fairly ugly goal that bobbled off of Jesus Navas before bobbling, that's Jesus, off of Soria and into the net. Off the post and into the net. So we went into the half with a goal apiece. After the half, Bayern looked a little bit better and began to take more control of the game. In the 65th, Soria made an incredible save from point blank on Javi Martinez. But Bayern's efforts were rewarded in the 67th minute when Thiago Alcantara headed home a peach of a cross from Franck Ribéry. It was another deflected goal, however, as Soria probably would have been able to save Thiago's straight into the ground header. And so it ended 2-1 in favor of Bayern, as they get the two all-important away goals. This will be an extremely tough task for Sevilla to pull off. However, if you want to take any stock in their history, the two times that they have lost the first match at home in their Champions League history, they've gone on to win the away match. And with Bayern not looking superb, despite smashing a terrible Borussia Dortmund side this weekend, hey man, maybe Sevilla can pull it off? Then again, if they suffer a heavy defeat to Bayern away, I wouldn't be surprised necessarily. Okay, from one Spanish side to another, let's go to the Camp Nou. God, I'd love to do that for real. Someday, man. Someday, if all this YouTube stuff pays off. But hey, this isn't the Adrian's Dreams and Aspirations wrap-up video. It's the Champions League wrap-up video. So here's what's up. FC Barcelona were boosted by the fact that Lionel Messi was in the starting 11 after he came off of the bench against Sevilla and didn't feature for Argentina during the international break. But I mean, come on. We knew he was being saved for this. Yet the first dangerous opportunity came to Rakitic, as his shot pass, his chasse, went untouched through the box and then kissed the post. Shortly after, Luis Suarez came close, forcing a good save out of Alisson as he looked for his first Champions League goal of this campaign. That's a lot of pent-up frustration, man. You gotta get some release before you go goal loco, you know? Thankfully for Barca, however, their trusty friend own goal came to the rescue as Pellegrini cheaply gave up possession. Iniesta tried to square to Messi, but Daniele De Rossi is a big Ronaldo fan clearly, and he decided to put the ball into the back of his own net so that Messi couldn't. It was a sick finish, actually. Completely unsavable for Alisson. Then in the second, Rakitic's ball across the 6-yard box was met by No, it wasn't. It was met by Manolas. But luckily, that guy OG, own goal, was waiting in the wings once again, and the ball ended up in the back of the net, courtesy of the aforementioned Costas Manolas' knee. 2-0 and a brace for own goal. Could own goal get a hat-trick in this match? Stay tuned. Just 4 minutes after that, a Barcelona counterattack featuring the blistering pace of Gerard Piqué ended with the Spaniard turning Luis Suarez's rebound into the back of the net to make it 3-0. I mean, poor Suarez, all those shots, still no goals. I mean, it's just unfair for him at this point. Why can't his shots go in? What is wrong with him? Then, to make matters even more unbearable for old Toothy, 20 minutes later, he had to go and watch Edin Dzeko go down the other end of the pitch, and wouldn't you know it, he scored with his second shot of the match. Completely unfair. Oh, but congratulations to Edin Dzeko for becoming the first Roma player in the club's history to score 5 goals in a single Champions League campaign. That's a little bit surprising, but then again, I guess Roma hasn't been spectacular in the Champions League or in general, so hey. But wait, there's more. So 7 minutes after Dzeko scored, own goal got a hat-trick. I'm joking. But finally, after what must felt like decades of shooting with no reward, no respite, no goals, Luis Suarez finally got his first Champions League goal of the season. It only took him 31 shots to do it, his first since March 8th, 2017. He's no longer the player in the competition with the most shots and no goals. And no, it may not have been scored by own goal, but it was set up beautifully by Federico Fazio. That's definitely how you say it. And that's how this one ended, 4-1 Barcelona, as Roma just gets the one away goal. And I mean, Roma did have some really good chances in this one that forced some incredible saves out of Ter Stegen, at least in the second half. Plus, there was 2 occasions where Roma could have had a penalty. I don't buy into the UEFA Lona calls in this case, but still, it's not as if Roma were passengers in this match. Now, can they turn the tie around? That's a different question. Do I think Roma are capable of beating Barcelona at home? On a good day, yeah. But I don't think they could score enough to knock them out, and I don't think they can keep Barcelona off the score sheet, let alone Mr. Own Goal. That dude is a savage. He's Barcelona's second top scorer in the Champions League with 4 goals to Messi's 6. All right, I know this is the one you guys want to talk about, so let's do it. The Milan derby ended 0-0, and for me personally, I think the biggest talking point has to be the fact that Mauro Icardi fluffed 2 golden opportunities with an open goal from 6 yards. Why? And yet, he still has the balls to moan on the pitch when his teammates don't find him with every single cross. It's ridiculous. And I'm just joking, guys. Let's talk about Liverpool versus City. This one was a smash and grab from the start, and I'm not even talking about the match, I'm talking about the reception the Liverpool fans gave the city bus. I mean, the bus took as bad of a beatdown as Manchester City did. In the match itself,
it took Mohamed Salah 12 minutes to get the first goal of the game as the ball bounced around the 18 before finding itself at the feet of said Egyptian, who put away his 7th goal of this Champions League campaign. 8 minutes later, James Milner, or James Milner, laid the ball off to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, whose hammer blow of a strike was in the side netting before Ederson could even react. That was James Milner's 7th assist of this UCL campaign, more than any other player, and just one less than the record of 8 assists in one campaign held by Neymar.
Speaking of assists, Salah picked one up himself with a ball that looped over the City defenders and onto the head of Sadio Mane. His 7th of this Champions League campaign, and man, where did he come from in the top scorer other than Ronaldo race? That was also Liverpool's 30th goal of this Champions League campaign, which breaks their record from the 07-08 season, the one in which they were knocked out in the semis. You know, those epic matches against Chelsea, those absolute classics. Anyways, let's throw some praise onto Klopp now, because more than any other manager, he knows how to get one over Guardiola. That was his 6th victory over Guardiola in 13 matches, which is more than any other manager has been able to beat Pep. 3 of those wins have come as Liverpool manager. And for me, the biggest takeaway wasn't necessarily the fact that Liverpool scored 3, but that they conceded none. In fact, City didn't register a single shot on target in this match, and that hasn't happened since October 2016 when they played against Manchester United. I guess it didn't help that Leroy Sané was brutal in this match, as he was the City player who definitely had the best chances, or at least the best opportunities to make something of the possession he had in and around the Liverpool box in dangerous areas. This was a great performance from Liverpool, and like I said at the beginning of the season, and like so many others have also said, if they can sort out their defense and consistency, they'll be a terrifying team. They've seemingly done one of those things, at least in this match, and they'll be tested with the other in the next. Knowing Liverpool though, they'll probably lose the Merseyside derby this weekend. I'm kidding, but I mean, maybe I'm not kidding, I don't know, but that's it for this show. Thank you guys for watching, as per usual, and a big shout out to all the new subscribers who found me via the watch-alongs this week, and to all the people who have been continuously supporting this channel as we, emphasis on the we, because I couldn't do it without you guys, march on towards 10K. My name is Adrian, lots of love to ya, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Europa League. Arrivederci.